from Nebraska. That's the first comment I saw on up there. This is Insomniac Hour. This is the hour where nobody can sleep, not even me. That is Vince. That is Dimitri. I am Josh. And how are we all doing tonight?
I'm awake.
A really good conversation that we're going to be having about, well, the mind. We've talked about the mind before, but this one is the mind that we really don't talk about because people are mostly unaware about it, and that is called your subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is an interesting topic of discussion because, you know what? There is no, physical address where your subconscious mind stays. There is no, place that it is. You can't even really hardly get into it. It's kind of interesting. It's like the hardware that holds all the computer, the base operating system that holds all the computer code that you don't see operating in the background of all the apps that you have.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
I think it knows more than your foreground
conscious. You think? Well, that's actually within the definition of it, isn't it?
Right. It's below.
Is your subconscious? Well, yeah, but your subconscious mind, it sees everything. So, give you a definition. The subconscious mind is a powerful secondary system that runs everything in your life. Learning how to stimulate the communication between the conscious and subconscious mind can be a powerful tool on the way to success, happiness, and riches. Right? Absolutely. Because it controls all your habits and aspects of your life. Your subconscious mind is a data bank for everything. It's not in your conscious mind. It stores your beliefs, your previous experiences, your memories, your skills. Everything that you've seen, done, and thought is also there. So people that have a photographic memory, what they're actually doing is they're going into their subconscious mind, which has this direct access to all the RAM and ROM memory within that computer system.
That's interesting.
Everyone has it. Just people with photographic memory know how to access it or can access it.
There you go. And see, the problem... Yeah, go ahead, Vin, sorry.
I think it's just tied together in a weird way. Like, I've smelled a smell before and had a memory triggered.
That's the quickest, the easiest one to trigger is with the sense of smell. Because the human brain, guess how many scents an average mind can remember and recall?
3.
How many smells?
4.
3, you're going to go 3, 4? What do you think?
Taste is only 3, right? Taste is only astringent, sweet, and sour.
Bitter, right. Salt.
Yeah. And then in smells, I think is there's thousands upon thousands of different smells.
50,000.
50,000, yeah.
The average human being remembers and recalls 50,000 smells.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Which is why it triggers memory, and which can trigger an emotion, which can trigger a response. So I used to sneak out of my mom's house when I was in high school, and I played this Mission Impossible Limp Bizkit song. And I had these gloves with the fingerless gloves, and I sprayed cheap Perry Ellis cologne on them. And I used to smell them and listen to the song just as a social experiment for myself.
Oh.
If I played the song right now and smelled that thing, I would start to panic out of nowhere.
It might just be because fingerless gloves are a thing of a psychopath.
It's true. I mean, I don't know. I can't really find a pair anymore. I just have to cut my own. But the smell is what triggered it, because years later I smelled the same cologne, and I got nervous. Out of nowhere.
Oh,
I was
wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
You got adrenaline.
That's a subconscious. That's a subconscious mind right there.
Yeah, that's specifically an anchor.
Right.
Well, how about that? That's a good place to start. What is a subconscious anchor?
It's when you
or a conscious anchor that is linked into the subconscious.
Yeah, exactly. It's when you smell a smell or hear a sound or taste a taste, and it brings something else out.
PTSD.
So it's
emotion.
It's a conscious connection to a subconscious effect, right?
Right, like PTSD, like a loud bang,
Yeah.
And that time that you almost died, your subconscious is like, whoa, pal. From now on, every time you hear a bang,
we're talking.
So
anchors are, I guess they can be environmental, but anchors are more these things that utilize in neuro-linguistic programming. They utilize in personal development to develop the training of yourself to actually go into your mind. And so basically think about this is if I have a bad habit, for instance, right? That bad habit is triggered by me doing certain things in my life. So what I do is I train myself within that trigger mechanism, that anchor mechanism that brings out that bad habit, to do something positive or beneficial, which overwrites that anchor. These anchors are conscious in a sense, is that we utilize them as a guidance into the subconscious mind to basically bring about some type of influence or action coming from the subconscious mind. Now, we have to.
It could even be a song.
What's that?
It could even be a song,
a
love song that brings you back to a place.
Well, those are more emotional attachments, right? Those are like attachments instead of anchors. Sure. I look at anchors, and maybe I'm wrong. I look at anchors as conscious mechanisms to explore the subconscious. That conscious mechanism that is attached to the subconscious. So it's something that like.
Do you have an example?
Yeah. Every time you see chocolate cake. Okay, what do you want? Oh, I'm going to eat that chocolate cake. I'm going to eat that chocolate cake. But you could create a subconscious anchor.
I'm not going to tell you what I want to do to that chocolate cake.
That's right.
Chocolate cake.
American Pie style. But so what you do is you create a subconscious anchor, okay? And you attach that chocolate cake to working out. So every time you see that chocolate cake, it reminds you, no, dude, I got to get fit. I got to get strong. I can't do that chocolate cake right now. That's a subconscious anchor with a conscious indicator.
Yeah.
So every time I see chocolate cake, I'm going to think to myself, no, dude, work out. Eventually, this becomes habitual.
Right.
That's why when somebody's changed their life significantly, they don't hang out with the same people and they don't do the same routine because they'll get right back into the same patterns.
That's the point. And like they treat PTSD with these techniques.
That's what I was looking for. Good. You're fine.
I'm sorry. They teach it to how to get out of it with the subconscious mind. So for instance, like if you had a moment in your life ever, like this is emotional too, so it's all linked up, but the repetition here is what I'm talking about. A moment in your life where like you wanted a Batman costume or a pony or whatever, and then your parents got it for you. Like a moment of sheer happiness in that 5 seconds when they came around the corner. If you could just remember that moment, if you have to write it down like every morning or every day, the more times you do that. And attach it
to something external.
And so that's the key here with understanding an anchor. The difference between an anchor and a trigger, right? The trigger would be environmental that triggers a subconscious interaction, right? So basically it triggers the same thing as an anchor, except it's not consciously done. It's unconsciously done, right? So that's PTSD is a trigger effect.
Right. So you would use an anchor effect to release a trigger effect or cancel it out, or take yourself out of it. But you don't. And so listen. So with that being said, you just said something that's interesting. Is epileptic seizure due to bright lights a subconscious thing?
No, that's neurological. That's more of it's neurological in the sense of various biochemical and bioelectrical receptors that are in an imbalanced state that cause that, I believe.
Right. Because that's epileptic seizures. It's electric impulses that your brain creates, right?
Yeah.
I think.
But going back into the subconscious mind, is this thing is a storehouse of all. It knows all. There's a great book out there, and if anybody's interested, I'll put a link out there for it, called "The Power of the Subconscious Mind." Okay, by Dr. Joseph Murphy. I talk about this book because it's my Bible in the sense of understanding my mind. So think about this: is you've heard about like the divine seat of the soul, and there's a connectiveness to each human spirit to this other world, to the spirit world. And that is the subconscious mind. 100%. Your subconscious mind is the integrative aspect of the universe. It is the Akashic records. It is the part of you that is directly connected to everything else. And the reason we know this is, here's the thing, is all the information that comes into you is filtered out, right? It's filtered out by your belief system. Yeah. Where's your belief system located? Your subconscious mind. And so here's the interesting thing. That means that your subconscious mind is actually taking in 100% of all the information that is coming in to your body. Okay, it takes in 100%.
Splitting it off, right?
No, it takes in 100%. Period. It stores.
Right, but I'm saying it splits it off, and you see what your filters.
Well, it filters it out. It doesn't split it off. It just filters what the conscious mind is seeing, and that's done through our belief system. Right. So it takes in 100% of the information and says, this is good, this is not, we might use this, I don't know about this. And then it...
I think it's more cut and dry than, and I think is this good for us, or are we going to be too scared to accept it? Because if we're too scared to accept it, we can't do it.
But that's belief.
That's why if your beliefs are open. Right. So that's what I'm saying. According to your beliefs, according to his beliefs, if he sees an alien right now, he's going to freak out and he's going to go crazy. Yep. We can't have that. So we can't show him the alien. Yes.
You know, there's only, so it's interesting that you're talking about belief, because belief is dictated by emotion. And emotion really comes down to only two things. There are only two emotions that exist in the universe. Did you know this?
No.
Shame and great.
What?
Love. You're either moving towards happiness or you're moving away from pain. Period. Survival 101.
Right.
You're either moving away from pain or moving towards happiness. There is nothing outside of that. All emotion begin wrapped up and summed up with exactly that.
That's mind-boggling to me.
Well, it's evolutionary. I mean, think
it's kind of fun. It's like the fundamental, basic breakdown of
towards
it,
happiness or away from pain. I mean, I guess. Well, yeah, because it could be the same thing. Like pain could be happiness to somebody because that's what like all those people that. Yeah, exactly.
But is it moving towards the pain,
happiness.
or is it moving away from
happiness.
the pain that brings the satisfaction?
Right.
It's still moving towards happiness because they're
exactly.
And it's moving away from the pain that brings the happiness.
Right. They want to do that just not to feel the other thing.
Yeah, there's some trauma.
So let's think about this. If there's only two fundamental emotions, that means that all belief is derived towards the direction of one of those emotions, either away from fear, away from pain, or towards happiness, towards love.
All belief follows that too. Okay?
So that's where belief derives from. So your belief structure is fundamentally based upon this concept of evolution, of survival of the fittest. Is I want to survive.
Yeah.
And so that's all within your subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind is basically an autonomous programs to keep you alive. Period.
Yeah. It's what makes you pull away from something that's burning your skin.
That's hot.
Before you could even think about it. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Like it's interesting that you bring this up because I've often wondered like I'm a chef. I've worked in the kitchen for like almost 2 decades, right? But let's say long enough to I've touched a lot of hot things with my hands. A lot. If a burger is frozen and you put it on the grill, I can flip that burger without breaking it if it's frozen. If it's not frozen, I might have to like wedge it off with a spatula and then I can flip it with my hand, like no problem. Right? So I have pretty much no feeling, quote unquote, in my hands. But if I were to be blind right now, or if I close my eyes, I could read the braille. Like I could feel the braille. So how is it that I don't feel heat, but I can still feel? I have nerve endings. Absolutely. I cut myself, it hurts. But the heat element of it, I could grab like a hot pancake, anything. Like, you know what I mean? There's a video of a woman flipping things like an oil.
That's completely different things. You're talking about neurological nerve endings, receptiveness to heat, and you're also talking about your epidermal layers receptiveness to touch.
Kind of. Listen,
I understand exactly what you're saying. They're both done by...
I can touch something and start feeling heat, like it's burning, and then I'll look at it and it will go away. Versus, like, if I didn't look at it, it wouldn't go away. It would continue to burn. And sometimes Russians, they go like this. If you burn, you put it to your ear, because apparently your ear is the coolest part. That's bullshit. It's not the coolest part. It's just you're training your brain to think that that's going to burn less, and you actually burn less. That's where I think the subconscious is involved.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of mind over matter perspectives to it, but also it comes about is that there's different reactory functions of your neurological systems when it's introduced to heat and when it's introduced to just plain touch. There are different wavelengths of electromagnetic energy that affect different biochemical and bioelectrical releases within your neurological system, depending on the interaction. Right. And so the heat,
I think they may be different.
Yeah, and so when you touch something that's hot or with heat, your body's adapted to that. Your body's realized that much heat is not dangerous for you. It's not going to burn your skin because you have calluses on it, right? But it's still receptive to braille.
Survive. Right. Right. I mean, I understand that. Now, the neurological between heat and just touch, I get, but like, I don't know. I have a feeling that it's got something to do with that, because like even on my right hand, and I don't touch that many things that are hot with my right hand because my right hand always has the tongs or the knife. I can do the same thing with my right hand. It's the same, even though this one's more weathered, so to speak, than that one. It's strange.
No, it's probably a mental thing. Everything's mental, man. The whole universe is mental.
Mind. Yeah.
And so that's the one thing that we have to also understand is, you know, our mind is an emergent effect of a lot of different things happening in our bodies and with our realities. And that
For sure.
our subconscious mind, I believe, is that connectiveness to that universal aspect of who and what we are. And so Joseph Murphy in this book, he talks about it, is that your subconscious mind is your divine connection to God. When you're talking to God, when you're praying to God, you're talking to your subconscious mind.
It is all. Yeah.
And he says, you know, when you go before you go to bed at night, if you have a question that you need answered, if you need guidance in your life, if you need something, you want to pray, you simply go, subconscious mind, please provide me the answer for this. And within a few days after asking it in that hypnagogic state, it will answer it. Your subconscious mind knows everything. Now, think about this. If it's continuously observing your reality, 100% of the information is coming into it. It's remembering everything. This is why people with photographic memories can remember everything anytime. You just say, 10:30, 5 years ago on this date. Yeah. There you go. There's a salt shaker there. There's a, you know, red and black this and whatever. They can tell you everything. Yeah. So this is the objective, is the subconscious mind takes in all information and records it. It's like a blockchain. Okay?
How can we copy that? That's fascinating.
What do you mean?
I didn't know it was to that extent.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Photographic memory.
Oh yeah.
Like really? Like they could just paint the room again in like 5 years? Every single part of their lives?
My father.
Yeah, they could stay. I was gonna say they could name specific events that happened on that day, like notable news, the weather, what happened, blah blah blah. Yeah.
So my father had a photographic memory. Do you want to know how he read a book? He'd turn the page.
And then he processed it afterwards. Because you could just read it like whatever he wants, right? Like on the bus or whatever. That's awesome.
Well, he didn't even need to process it. He just had it. It was just there. He would snapshot it. Boom, done. Uploaded.
But did he read it or did he just snapshot it? Or is that the same thing?
Just looks at the page. Done. You would ask him anything about the book, he would know it. Recall it at any point in time. Yep.
Yeah. It's almost like it's all right. So, but reading a book is layers, though. Like looking at a picture, you could remember things, but reading the book is how you felt about the book. Like, did he get all that too? Like when you're doing it that quickly, like this chapter made me sad and that chapter made me happy. Like, you know, like reading a book.
Yeah.
Like you would have to go through it again. No, I don't know.
He would read some books a few times, but
okay, that's right.
But you know, you would ask him anything, he would know it. He would know exactly where to find it. He never lost anything.
Yeah.
And so what it really comes down to is these people that have these super accesses, they have these super normal talents, really just have more access to their subconscious mind. People who are psychic, they just have better access to their subconscious mind because that's the gateway to the extra universe.
They know their dollhouse.
Yeah, they know their dollhouse very well. Gundy. Man, I haven't seen Gundy in a while.
I always said that this is a prison planet. Your body is your vessel. You know, your vessel is yourself, right? Your foreground conscious is the prison, and then the subconscious mind is like the warden. He doesn't want you there. You know, he doesn't want to be here, but he has to be, and he knows way more than you. And he just needs to keep you alive.
Well, the thing that you need to understand is that the subconscious mind is you. It is 100% you. It knows way more than you ever will know in this understanding, right? And that its objective is to keep you alive to fulfill whatever purpose it is here in this life, right? And so in actuality, your subconscious mind is your higher self. It is your higher consciousness.
You think everyone has a specific purpose? Like, what do you mean by that?
It depends on the perspective that you have, but I believe that I have a
Does
purpose.
my subconscious mind?
I have meaning.
Right. Okay. So do you have a? All right, so is it specific or is it just like general? So like warrior, or like healer, or is it specific? Like I must heal people that are, have problems with their heart,
I think that
or
I think that it's very, very rudimentary, fundamental to the universe, and that is simply that everybody's purpose on this planet, in this universe, in life, the whole purpose of life,
right,
is to learn what you did not know that you did not know. Period. To evolve. That is what it is. It's growth. It's the same process that occurs over and over in the universe that I beat a dead horse with.
Well, that's good. I do that from time to time.
Yeah.
Learn.
every day.
It's all, well, no, really. Did you have an epiphany today or an aha moment today? What did you see? Oh, that's the problem. You're not consciously aware of the process of evolution. And this is why we have the Redpill Project. This is what the Redpill Project is about. The Redpill Project is not accepting information simply because someone says it, but we have to hypercritically analyze things. The reason we do that is not only hypercritically analyze it, but analyze it intuitively, internally. And the reason we do that
I just don't remember.
is because you learn something new that you did not know that you did not know. These are aha moments and these are epiphanies. This is the true definition of growth, and this is what is meant by conscious, spiritual, and physical evolution. The only way that human beings could evolve to the point that they're at now is learning something new that they did not know that they did not know. There is no other way around it. Everything that happened in human evolution, whether we grew up on this planet, we grew up on another planet, we didn't just one day magically appear freaking smart. This was an adapted, over long periods of time, phenomena that happened by human beings going through trial and error. Oh, I ate this leaf. This leaf kills me, gives me shits. I don't eat this leaf. Now I go eat other leaf, right?
I eat mushroom. I see God.
I eat mushroom. Oh my God, so much more. But the mushroom shows them.
Dude, the lights just. Did you see that?
Well, that's just my light.
Yeah. It was
but the mushrooms show them.
I was gonna say, damn.
The mushrooms show them something they did not know that they did not know.
That's so cool. Could you do it again? That shit looks like it's just like
weird.
I have to look. Yeah, it was strange.
It was majestic.
It really was, wasn't it? Like I was just missing the choir. That's it.
It was just like majesty.
I remember what it was. The aha moment. It was somebody talking about the sun and the moon, and how the sun was directly behind them, but the moon's shadow was at 7 o'clock, and that didn't make sense.
How about this?
Yeah.
Anytime you see the moon, okay? This is the best way to understand the moon. Anytime you see the moon, the lighted side of the moon, take that and find the sun, because it points directly to it. Anytime you see the moon, the lighted side of the moon, it points directly to the sun, line of sight.
That's what I'm talking about. But he's talking about the shadow of the moon was facing the sun as well.
I don't know what you mean, shadow of the moon.
It's not a full moon, but it's almost a full moon. The moon that you can't see, right, wasn't facing the sun.
No. What he's seeing is his angle of perspective of the moon here and the sun over here, where the sun's light is shining off the face of the moon, right, one side of the moon, and the other side of the moon, it's not. As if.
But it was backwards, was what I'm saying. It was backwards. Like the shadow was on the other side, not the side where the sun is shining, but the other side.
I call bullshit.
Mercury
if that's the case, I call bullshit. And I'll put him to the test to show me proof of that, because it's absolute bullshit. It doesn't work that way. And I've done this test multiple times. And the best way to explain this is if this is the moon, right? Mm-hmm. Think about this think about this side as the shadow of the moon. I can see this from Earth. But when this light comes up, does it illuminate the backside of it? But that illumination point will always show you where the sun is. Understand? Yeah.
I get it. I just have to call bullshit on it. That's all. I'm going to do that. I was just wondering.
All it is he's trying to say is that he's looking at the moon. He sees a shadow on one half and light on the other half, and the sun's out over here. And he goes, that doesn't make any sense. The sun's out. It should be illuminated the whole moon. But no, it doesn't.
You're blocking it. Yeah.
Because the part that's illuminated is blocking the part that's not. Because it's a sphere.
Why doesn't the moon doesn't spin, or it spins with us, so we never see that?
It spins in a what's known as a locked tidal orbit. And so it spins at the same rate that we spin. So it appears not to move or spin, but it actually does.
Have you guys heard of people listening to audio while they're sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then having their subconscious basically remember all that stuff?
Dexter's Laboratory. Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage.
And then
omelette du fromage.
With the girls, like, omelette.
So there's a lot of different aspects of this. Is that your subconscious mind could quickly absorb information if it's already pertinent to your life, if you've already learned it once before, or if it's existent within the global collective. So therefore, if someone's already read a book before, right, then you should be able to find that information of that book simply by asking your subconscious mind to show it to you.
It's an interesting phenomenon, and that's like
with the glass.
Once a record's broken, people are able to break it after. Kind of same concept.
Wait, what?
Say that again. Oh yeah, it's the Bannister effect.
Mm-hmm. It's a limitation of your subconscious.
That's right, global collective consciousness. And so I think that information is the same way. Is that if Dimitri knows it, I can figure it out as well. Because Dimitri knows it, so therefore I should be able to know it. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of times that I've sat here and just extrapolated on an idea and then found out I was correct at a high level of intelligence about the information that I speculated on. Actually, about 98% of the time, that's a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. Is I'm just pulling it in the moment, and there it is. It's true and it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now I play a little bit of piano, nothing crazy, but like Billy Joel like type stuff, just like arpeggios, right? But I know for a fact, and I've done this multiple times, that if I sit there and just play like whatever, it's called chance piano, chance music, you just kind of play like da 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 da. For about in about 20 minutes of doing that, for about 15 seconds, you will play like something that you could like. So you could think in Mozart's 40th the whole time, right? Or Beethoven, whatever. You'll just start playing it out of nowhere, and then you'll stop.
That's so cool, dude.
It's almost like I'm sure everyone can do this. You just need to give 20 minutes to a piano just doing this and thinking of the thing. I guarantee you could play it. Maybe a couple notes.
Like a bunch of monkeys with typewriters, right?
Pretty much.
Well, so
and then you get
getting back into the subconscious mind part of this is that your subconscious mind is also one of those things that's incredibly difficult. It's well protected and it's incredibly difficult to access. Right? So
how can we access it?
Well, good question, Vince. How can we access it? You have access to it right now, and you just don't realize it. There's no special techniques. It's simply just a little bit of meditation, and you can access it. When that place that you go into in meditation when your senses recede, that is that place.
Or dreaming.
Yeah.
Breathing is the one thing that's one of the very few things that's done both subconsciously and then your choice to do it consciously. Like if you're running away from someone, are you thinking breathe faster? No. But if I tell you right now, breathe slow, you can't.
Typically, yes, but I think some people could gain control over more.
Oh, I agree.
Course, but that's how you start.
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof. Or those monks that meditate until they just get in that weird state of people think they're dead, but they're not. I don't know.
That's the resting heart rate. They slow it down way, way down. Yeah, you can slow it down to like ridiculous, like almost past, like you should have been dead. Like if your heart was beating that slow, this person would be dead, but they're not dead. They're just like in a trance. I don't remember what the BPM is. I mean, 0 is dead, right? But they don't slow it down that much, but they slow it down to the point of like, why is this person still alive? Like 40 is like a really low heart resting rate. I think that has a lot to do with it too, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're in a coma, you're essentially sleeping. Your heart is being, your breath is being done by that. So like, if you're in a coma, are you all subconscious right there, just chilling, like hanging out? Where are you when you're in a coma?
Yeah, I would imagine so. You ever hear about people saying they remember everything while they were in a coma.
Some people remember everything. It's almost like having sleep paralysis, but for like
they have
years.
access to that subconscious mind, I guess.
Well, that's that's the mind, right? Where do you exist when you're in a coma?
I don't know.
I mean, they can't even monitor consciousness at that point. But you're existent, right? Most people are certain in OBE or out-of-body experiences, or they're in lucid states.
Yep. Living whole other lives and then waking up and being like, oh, shit.
Yeah, dude, that's a true. Right now.
So apparently I'm annoying.
Yeah, I see.
Apparently I'm annoying because I act like I'm better than everybody else.
Who's that?
That's cool.
Some people in the chat. Okay, cool. Well, guys, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I think that everybody has the same innate abilities and techniques and intelligence. Period. Everybody has their own thing.
Which is how you get to it. Yeah, the answer is the same.
Nobody's really better than anybody else, so...
Except for here at Globo, Jim. Because we're better than you, and we know.
Snap into a vaccine. Oh, yeah. But, no, listen. I don't know how that conversation got started on there, but...
Whatever.
If you feel that I make that feeling or assumption that I'm better than somebody, then I think that people out there have subconscious vulnerabilities that are being touched upon. And these also go into play with what we're talking about, because your subconscious mind isn't necessarily always positive. If people,
hell no.
If people have a poverty mindset, right? What does that really mean?
It's going to manifest everywhere.
That's right. Do you remember when we talked about the principle of exchange and how when you deplete your energy or you have your energy deficient, the universe wants to give you energy, but the universe doesn't give you polarized energy, right?
Raw.
The universe gives you raw energy, and that raw energy aligns towards your polarization of your mind. Guess where that is? It's not your conscious mind. It's your subconscious mind, which means that your subconscious mind, through, let's just say, abuse or whatever it happens in your life, through indoctrination, is aligned in a certain way that is very detrimental to your health, that is very bad for your mind, for your body. Think about people and their bad habits.
Yeah, it's hard to break too, but you can train yourself.
Exactly.
Yep.
You can change.
It's as simple as making your bed in the morning, and not for the looks, not for the way the bed looks. Just you could look like crap. It could still be messy, but as long as you take 5-15 seconds to make your bed, because your subconscious mind now sets the rest of your day as, oh shit, I need to.
Now, isn't that called an anchor?
Right.
I set my bed. I'm physically performing the act over and over and over and over again because I'm trying to overwrite another program that is not beneficial to me, that is not leading me towards happiness or away from pain, but it's instead producing pain.
And another way to trick it's like essentially tricking yourself into doing good things for you, because your mind doesn't think that it is, or it thinks like bad things are good for you. So like, if you need to work out, like I need to start working out. Don't say that you're going to work out. Don't say I'm going to go for a 2-mile run today. Say I'm going to put on my jogging clothes and I'm going to go outside of my door and I'm going to lock my door. That's all I'm going to do. Just pretend that's guaranteed. When you lock that door, you're going to go on the run, because motivation comes a little bit after. But the whole thing of getting up and doing it is the hardest part. That's where you have to trick yourself into just saying, I'm just going to go to walk to the bathroom. That's it. Then you get to the bathroom and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go here. And you keep going.
But, I think this is a good point because, I don't question what Dimitri knows. I don't question what Vince knows. I accept it. I enjoy listening to it because it helps me learn about myself. And that's the beautiful thing. Because you guys always got to remember, the only way that I know Vince, the only way that I know Dimitri, is from their words reflecting off of something that I know within myself.
Yeah. You can only know us as well as you know yourself.
So anything that you're seeing with me is actually an attribute of yourself. So what is it? What is it? What is the old saying we used to say in school? Sticks to glue, it sticks to you, or whatever it is.
Bounce,
rubber,
yeah.
I'm
you're
rubber,
glue.
you're glue. If it sticks to me, it's gonna stick to you, right?
Sticks and stones.
Yeah. So
And so, somebody was joking in the chat saying,
I know you
"Gosh,
are, but who am
you
I?
hurt my feelings."
no, that was.
And I told
Listen,
him, it was a
I know
joke.
who Tyler is.
Yeah.
I know who all these people are.
Oh.
Okay. And I'm not
Yeah,
here
yeah. Well,
to
I'm
piss
just-
off anybody. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm here to help
not.
people. I'm here to wake
Yeah,
people
they were
up.
just joking, but
That's it.
I told them, I was like, "That's impossible,
Yeah.
right?" When you have an emotional response to something, that's your subconscious.
There
For some
you
reason,
go.
you're having this response. You have complete control over how you react to any of your stimulus if you just take the time to.
You gotta catch yourself.
And so, guys, by the way, there's no reason to go after anybody or attack anybody in the chat for having an opinion. I might call it out,
Yeah.
but I call it out because I see something deeper ingrained in there, right? I don't see it that someone hates me or thinks I'm annoying. I see it that someone is seeing something that maybe, they're trying to rationalize or don't understand, or maybe they're feeling something and they want to express it. We should never.
Yeah, they're passionate. They're
I mean,
passionate.
there's also a difference between attacking somebody and defending yourself.
Oh.
Like if someone's in the chat saying, this guy, so and so,
Right.
oh.
Now, do I find myself annoying? Not at all. Am I trying to be
I don't give
annoying?
a shit what anybody thinks.
No. But if I am being annoying to you, then explain why. You say, "Oh, well, you talk over
the other
people,
thing.
or you cut people off when they're talking," right?
I do it all the time. Josh,
You know,
lets me talk.
Jay and I were just talking about this at the end of the Daily Dose because of some comments that were on the platform from somebody, and he said, "Look, dude, this is Josh's show. If Josh wants to go on a 20-minute rant, Josh is going to go on a 20-minute rant. It's his show. I'm just the Robin Gibbons to the Howard Stern, right?"
Yeah, man.
And, I mean, if this was my show, Josh would shut up, sit down, and talk when he's talking to. Because that's how me and Jay were raised. We're brothers, right? In this show, it's Vince, buying, and tumultuous. Look, if someone wants to talk, well, hold on, let me get in, right? That's what we do. We
Yeah,
understand this level of communication that goes on here.
It's not easy
No.
to have a conversation like this either.
And that's what I want people to
No, it's not.
understand. Is doing this is not easy. I promise
Yeah,
you.
like dead space, dead air is like the worst. I know you said you didn't like dead air. I heard like 3 seconds of it, and I was like, but stars.
So that's the thing that I want to get to next. Is when we're up here and we're talking, we're communicating, there's something called dead air. And this is pauses and moments of silence. And unfortunately, I really dislike dead air. I can't do it.
Yep.
So if there's a pause,
I'd rather reiterate. Yeah.
if there's a pause and I begin to talk, I just go. Because I
And then I
go
think
ahead.
you have a 2 or 3 second
I do.
limit, and it's done.
Because I
It's over.
assume nobody else knows where to take the conversation. And that's
Exactly,
not a
yeah.
bad thing. It's just me controlling the conversation and the flow of where the information's going. It's a subconscious part of my mind. It's something that I've developed over time, right, to fill dead air, to continue the
Yeah.
conversation.
Otherwise it just gets so bad you might have 10, 20 seconds or like a minute of silence.
Who knows?
No, Tyler, this is actually good that you said this. You did say it was annoying. I can go back and show you in the chat. That's okay. Dude, you're not the first person. I've been called worse even today, okay? I don't care that people find me annoying. Because you know what? What people think about me doesn't affect me.
And it's also a projection of them.
Well, and it's usually a projection of how they feel about themselves. So what I want people to understand is that I'm never going to judge you. That's not my job. I want to learn from you. And that's why I pointed this out. Okay? Because I want to learn from people. If I'm being annoying, tell me how I'm being annoying. Right? Maybe I am, and other people are seeing it and I'm not. And then you help me. I learned something I did not know that I didn't know. Because this is subconscious tendencies that are playing out when we're up here, because us three have an understanding subconsciously of how this information has to flow. Okay?
This is what I don't understand. Like sometimes people do that on my TikTok. They do it a lot. No, lies. And that's it. Okay. Or no, you're crazy. Maybe. But
that's a fun
why?
one, dude. TikTok's real fun.
It's a good time. The comments are almost half the show. It really is. Even for me, like I love it. They're great. But it's just like people just comment. Nah.
Well, you know what it is?
What's that?
What?
The internet. I don't know what it is, but the internet just brings out something else in a person that they wouldn't necessarily say to your face.
Oh yeah, it's Keyboard Samurai. I have a song about
It's
that.
so interesting, that dynamic, and that I think does relate to your subconscious.
Internet warriors
in a way, I would imagine. What do you think?
trolling.
Yeah,
I think trolling are people that can't troll in real life. They're bullies. They would be bullies if they could. So they can on the internet, and then that's what they do. But they basically, it's people that I think need a vent.
I think everyone's done it though. I know I've been a jerk, 100%.
I've trolled before, but then I realized I just punch a punching bag. It's the same anger, but nobody gets hurt. Except me.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
it is weird, but it's like I think you just have energy that you need to get out. People choose different outlets on it, which is why you usually fight with your girlfriend more than anyone else. Out of nowhere, like we haven't seen each other all day, and all of a sudden you get home from work and you're like, you know, each other's faces. Why? Well, because you got a lot of shit building up from the day, and you don't understand why. She's the closest person to you.
Well, but also is people have something called projection, right? And so one thing about the subconscious mind, which also holds your emotional body, which we talked about, the 6-body system, the 4-6-body system, is this is stored within your subconscious mind. It's directly connected. Remember how I told you your emotional body is directly connected to your subconscious mind? It goes around the conscious mind, goes directly into the subconscious. Right. And so what happens is you have micro-emotional stimulants. You have micro-emotional stimulants, which basically penetrate your emotional body, overfilling them. And so what happens is we go to work and we go, the wife goes to the grocery store, or she goes to work or whatever, and you have a lot of things coming at you throughout the day. And so you come home with your energy and she comes home with your energy. You're both perturbed, or maybe she's just angry and you're in a great mood, and those energies conflict. She sees you're in a great mood. She gets mad subconsciously.
Worse, yeah.
Right? And then projects that anger of her day onto you as if you did something wrong. Or vice versa, you come home disturbed. She's in a happy mood. I got everything done today that I needed to get done. And Dimitri walks through the doors just like, shitty day. Yeah.
Dude, when I have a shitty day and a lot of events happen and maybe it was like a high stress day, I will talk somebody's ear off passionately and just rant.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's your
that's
your
what
outlet.
The women say is, I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
Yep. I've learned that over the years. Just listen.
I have not.
Helps.
Not
and I don't, and I can't. And I don't, and I can't. I listen, but I can't stay quiet. But Tyler, I love you, buddy. I'm not mad at you. I'm not judging you or anything like that. But I thought it was an interesting phenomenon to point out because it has everything to do with what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, we love all you guys, even if anything happens.
It's like a psychology thing goes. Like the better of a shrink or a psychologist you are, the more you understand, the less you're mad at people, because you understand where they're coming from.
Right.
Like you can still be upset, but then you just think for a second, like, why is this? Okay.
So that's what you're hitting on right there is one of the most beautiful things in the universe. You remember when you were younger and you were doing something and your parents or your mentor or your teacher, your coach would be sitting there smiling while you're struggling? You're like, why are you smiling while I'm struggling? Exactly. Because they knew what would happen when you grew. Because they know what happens when you learn something that you did not know, and they had been through it. They've been there. They've seen the struggles, and they're now envisioning the beauty of your struggles turning into success.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times, and I always used to get mad, like just like you said, like, what the fuck? Are we smiling? I can't tie my goddamn shoe. You guys are smiling.
Yeah,
I'm 27 years old.
They're waiting for that aha moment.
Yeah, but it shows this fundamental thing of humanity or of knowledge itself, is that we sometimes call it condescendence, right? Being condescending is that when I stand on a higher level of knowledge than one other person and I look down on them, and when they're portraying that level of knowledge, I'm like, like Jay talked about it yesterday in the show. Remember he was talking about this doctor? This doctor was ranting like, this damn truck driver just needs to shut up and take the vaccine. I'm a doctor. That's condescending, right? But if that doctor looked at it and said, you know what? maybe this truck driver is a highly educated human being who knows his stuff, and maybe I should answer these questions because they're pretty logical. I say that a doctor's at a lower intelligence level than the truck driver.
100%.
Yeah.
Close
right,
mind.
but
Yep.
it comes to this point that people who are humble, people who are humble know humility. And they know humility because they stood at a higher level of intelligence and witnessed somebody going through something that they've already went through and understood the feeling, the sensation, the expectation, the understanding. It's understanding.
And the person gets mad
That's
at
right.
it. Yeah, they get upset, just like the little kid. They just say, "Oh, why are you smiling at this?" But
it's a journey.
Yeah, and
man.
so knowledge comes with this ability to stand under what you know. To stand under what you know. And it's as if you hold up what you know, right? And so think of...
You could be the...
So, Josh, can we go back real quick to the microaggression thing?
Well, micro emotional stimulants.
Micro emotional stimulus, is that just everything that contributes to that?
Yeah,
or?
Kind of like, everything. Literally.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay.
So you got to remember how the 6-body system works. Body, emotions, mental body, right? This is our physical interpretation of reality. So you have electromagnetic energy compounding your body at all times throughout the day, massively. 99.9% of it you don't even realize. All this information, because that's what it is data and information, is coming through your Wi-Fi antenna and then going through your modem, right? So your skin, your body is your Wi-Fi antenna, where your emotional body is your modem. Your modem modulates and demodulates the information into something that it knows and understands. Okay? So, a micro-emotional stimulant is basically a targeted micro-emotional expression. So they target you specifically with something they know they can draw a certain minor, very, very small emotional reaction out of. Now what happens is that just sits there in your emotional body. Doesn't do anything because it's not enough to make emotional reaction. And they do this over time until these things build up on top of each other and they begin to overflow. Now, the interesting thing is that when you have all these micro-emotional stimulants and they begin to overflow from your emotional body, they literally overflow. And where would they overflow? To the other two bodies, right? To your physical body and to your mental body. What do we call when your emotions expand into your physical body and your mental body? Stress?
I don't know.
Stress, illness, disease.
I think of like explosive anger, or I think of people with tempers.
That's why I think punching a punching bag is one of the best things I personally have done.
I agree, man.
Because it really is. You could run, that's cool, but you could swim. Like I swam for college and for high school. Like I was, like competitively. I could do that, but that's not the same. Actually, physically punching a bag, whether it's with a glove, know how to punch, not know how to punch. Maybe you tie up your wrists so you don't hurt them at first. But like, dude, it's like the best thing, and you don't have to do it a lot. You can just do like 2 5-punch combos.
But this is talking more about the emotional side of things, right?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm getting the emotions out.
That's right.
Because the actual
I have a point.
Because it's transmutation.
It is transmutation, but what's the difference? I feel better when I'm really stressed. When I'm talking really stressed, I'll punch a bag, I'll go for a run, I'll do a bunch of push-ups or whatever, and I feel great after, compared to what a lot of people say, which is like, breathe slowly, sit down, chill out. No, I like to exert energy.
Well,
yeah, because that's anger.
But goes back to what Talk was just saying, is if I'm expending energy physically, right, and I have an overflow of emotional energy, now that overflow is being contained by the expenditure of energy because my body utilizes any energy it can at that expenditure before pulling out my fat stores. Right. This is why a lot of people who can't lose weight, even though they're doing physical activity, because they have all these emotional aspects of themselves that are drained. They have to release them and relinquish them. And there's techniques and processes to do this because this all exists subconsciously.
I heard someone's talking about, her name is Carla. She's on TikTok. She does a lot of spirituality, like stuff and shadow work, all this thing. And she was saying that she was on a psilocybin experience, and she felt that in her stomach there was this trauma that she'd experienced from before, and she had cried a lot. She let it go, and then when she came out of the trip, she was like, "Holy shit! Like that's why I've been having stomach problems." She had I guess she had whatever with a doctor, because it was legitimately her emotions being contained in that area of her body. And once she let those emotions go and she confronted them, the problem went away.
Now think about that.
No more overflow.
Where was the connection done? Where was the connection that caused the problem to happen done?
So definitely
subconsciously. Which means that she didn't even know, or this person didn't even know it was happening.
Exactly. That's what you forget, because it's kind of like getting numb every day, more and more and more, to the point of first it hurts a lot, emotionally, then less and less and less and less. But those emotions don't go anywhere. You just feel them less. Now it's getting deposited in physical.
Well, you can create the habit of subconsciously ignoring them. And that's the same thing as micro emotional stimulants. Ignoring the emotion is the same thing as it coming in subliminally. Right? Or unconsciously.
You can ignore it, but you can't escape it.
You cannot escape it. And that's the thing, that's how they manipulate you on social media. That's how every algorithm is built. That's why they seek to know you.
Interesting.
I do not consent.
And I'll tell you, the subconscious mind is probably the most important conversation that we can have here. Because, firstly, everybody has to deal with it. And if you have a problem, an addiction, an affliction, if you have, are you a very emotional person? Are you you're very bipolar, or if you're very depressive, or any of these things, this is all subconscious.
Or all the above for people like me.
do you know what?
What are you addicted to?
So think about this is depression. Think about what happens when someone gets depressed. They become very narrowly focused towards their own wallowing sorrow, right? Now, what is actually happening here? Think about
they're inside their
energy
heads.
Exchange.
It's all getting filtered towards crash the plane.
How many of them feel drained and have no energy? All of them. Oh. So, is depression a psychological problem or an energy utilization and distribution and management problem?
100% the latter.
Because what's happening here? What are the reasons why people typically get depressed?
Jim Carrey said it like this. He was like, there's a difference between depression and sadness. Sadness is, you're sad, but depression is your body saying, I don't want to play this character anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. It's emotionally draining. That means that your emotional body is overflowing. And it's overflowing subconsciously because you cannot consciously figure out where it is. You remember what I told you is that your energetic body is finite? So this means that when I go out there and I create a relationship with someone else or something else, I can only have a finite number of these relationships. I can only allocate my energy to so many places because that allocation takes away my attention and my focus towards that thing, whether it's conscious or subconscious.
Okay.
So then now go back and visit depression. I've overextended my energy allocation, and I don't remember where.
This is key. One of the best things I've heard you can do with depression is vocalize what you're depressed about, because it's often so stupid that when you rationalize it, you're like, "What the hell?"
Not only that,
you're like almost
is you have to do spiritual and emotional healing.
I love that.
So think about it.
Say it out loud.
What's happening is you're hyper focusing on the empty drain of energy you have because you don't know where it went.
Dude, Dimitri has a good point though. I've vented to somebody before when I'm extremely angry or depressed, and gotten the response like, "That's dumb. That's dumb. Why are you mad?" It's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly.
is it dumb? Am I being dumb? Why am
I've had people come to me and express these too, and that can appear to be condescending when you do that to them, though, right? Is that
yeah, you could get mad and be like, what do you mean?
you're
Why
not taking me as if they're a narcissist and they're depressed? That's even worse, right? And that's why having them hyper analyze themselves in the perspective that we're saying is if you understand that what depression is, right, is basically is energy utilization, allocation, and distribution. It's energy management. If my energy is being siphoned off by an ex-boyfriend, an ex-husband, by a kid, or by a lingering effect that happened in my life that I can't control, that's outside of my control, or all these things compounding on me, I'm being harassed at work, I'm being bullied, I got a lot of different things happening in my life. It's all emotional overload that is distributing your energy elsewhere, and you're not consciously aware of where your energy is going. Therefore, you have no more connections left. You have a finite amount of connections. If you have no more connections left, who can you connect with? Nobody.
I don't know.
So people who are depressed typically do what?
Oh.
Isolate.
They wallow within their own depression and their own sorrow. They don't want. They recluse. They hide. They go with the darkness because they can't connect with anybody. Nobody's ever going to understand me. It's because all these energy lines, these imaginary, they're not really imaginary, they're real. But all these energy connections are overextended and siphoning off energy. And a lot of these people that they're connected with are energy vampires.
Okay, so now that's a good. I'm glad you brought that up because you said someone's draining my energy. Are the energy vampires? Do they know this? One and two, when they're draining the energy, do they get like better?
Yes, sometimes,
stronger?
And yes. Yes, sometimes, and definitely yes. The movie Monsters, Inc.
Right, okay? Right. I know, I love that movie.
This was actually very psychological in perspective. I think it has a lot to do with the whole cabal stuff, but it's very, very true that you have an emotional body and that you can feed off that fear energy. Because here's the thing. If you are an alchemist, does it matter the energy that you take in if you can transmute it in any way you desire? No.
It's not. Fair enough. I like the ending of Monsters Inc. the best when they figured out that laughter is twice as strong.
Yes,
as fear.
Jessica. Actually, weed weed suppresses that. And so if you have a lot of panic and anxiety attacks with weed, it's because your endocannabinoid system is actually directly connected to this energetic system. And so if that if your energetic system is overloaded, smoking weed can actually increase these types of effects. For some people, not all.
Especially edibles, I get panic attacks.
The type of weed matters a lot. Now, I didn't think so. I didn't think it would. I thought it was weed is weed, but sativa is the energetic panic type, and indica is the melt into the couch type, which is, you should try it at least. Worth a try. If you know what you're saying.
So this, I mean, we got from the subconscious mind into emotion, but it's really true is that, you know, energy vampirism is a real thing. It really does happen. And people can say, no, it doesn't. Well, it has to if we think that optimization theory is any bit correct, right? But here's the thing. Are there people out there that will take your energy and transmute it into whatever they want? Now, think about this. Remember the effect that I told you, Vince? I know, Dimitri, you weren't here last week when we did this, but if I put energy out to the universe, I influence that universe to produce an effect, cause and effect, right? I'm the causation to the effect. Mm-hmm. 3 levels of influence: primary, secondary, tertiary, right? Yeah. I'm putting out energy. Okay? What if I had an excess amount of energy coming back to me, like the raw energy from the universe? And I can transmute that dependent upon the polarization of my own mind. Now I have more energy to utilize to influence the universe. Yes. Now think about energy vampires. The ones that are good and know how to do it, that's exactly what they're doing. They're magicians.
Huh. I'm pretty sure I saw like a family get married, like this woman and man get married, or like they had their party, and the entire family was these like energy vampires. Just by the way they acted, and I was treated like the help, but I wasn't. Like the guy asked me to cook at his party just as a favor. I said, sure, yeah, no problem, dude. And then he hired 2 other people to work the bar, but them he was paying, and me he wasn't. I was just kind of shooting the shit, grilling, and it was him and his fiance, and they were Filipino, and these like her mother and father were like there, the whole in-laws, and I just see the way they're looking at these people at the party, almost like a vampire would to like people. Like they asked me to cook their like shish kebabs for them, and I did. And they were like hovering over the grill, kind of like making sure it was done just right and blah blah blah. To me, it was under seasoned, but I didn't touch it because I'm with that magician's recipe. I'll just cook your food.
Tom Chauncey said it best. You're swimming in energy. We are energy. And he's absolutely right. What Dimitri's actually talked about happened to me one time. I was at Ilmi. If anybody's been in Virginia, Northern Virginia, Nova area, and you've been to just outside of Alexandria, there's a Korean barbecue and sushi place called Ilmi. Used to eat there all the time. Little Korean barbecue place. And so I'm in there one day with my now wife, and I'm sitting down, and there's people behind us, and it was this dude, and I didn't even know who he was until I looked back. But I sat down eating, and people wear their energy on their sleeves. They don't even know they're putting it out there. But all I started seeing was this dude like murdering somebody. And I'm like seeing it in my head. I'm seeing this guy murder somebody. It was like the only thing on his mind was killing this person, right? And I turn around, and the guy I see in my head is right behind me. And I got pale white. And I'm like, like your stomach like falls down. And you're like, oh my God, like what the hell's going on? Like you're like feeling his energy field, and he's wearing it out there, and he's just putting it out there, broadcasting it.
Dude, like the thing with me that happened, I was walking. There was one walk I did because the bartender was my friend. So I was talking to the bartender, and then somebody like I guess went up to the grill or some shit. So I was gonna make another burger. And I walk across the party, and I had this I would like 27 steps, maybe 28 steps. And I look at all the family, and this is where like me, I pictured myself on this like energetic level, kind of like not a ghost floating through, but like seeing like the, outside of yourself. Yeah. And I see all of the family members, and like I kind of count people like really well. Like sometimes like I don't know how many people are around me, what they look like. I get my like, it's like a photographic memory of my immediate location, but I don't remember. And I see like first the mother-in-law, then the father-in-law, and I felt like they all looked at me like as if they knew that I was looking at them from that angle. Like I wasn't just some cook walking through. It wasn't just some guy's friend. Like I was this person that realized who they were and was watching them. And they all looked at me, and then they kind of just went, all right, yeah, no problem. We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt you as long as you don't hurt us. Like, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Right. And they're out there. There's vampirism out there. And this is what the whole story of we can take it to the next level of the human traffickers and so forth.
I'm about to take it to the next level, because when they were about to have the speech, there was a baby and two dogs at the party and have been silent the entire time. And I was right near both of them. As soon as they quieted everybody down for the speech, the dogs started barking as loud as they could, and the baby started wailing. Like, ah! I was like, holy shit, if that's not an omen, I don't know what is. And then sure enough, the guy acknowledged there. He's like, who bought that baby? It was like my friend, like the groom, so to speak. And I was like, shouldn't have done that, pal, because that's you just like admit, like for me, I was just seeing this whole party as a completely different world of this energy like transfer. But these people knew what they were doing.
People wear their energy on their shoulders. Because, here's the thing is if you're not aware of the process, if you don't understand it, and you're not taught, and you're not like naturally ordained to do it, you will. And you don't know that.
Yep. You walk right into it.
And what reads that is not your mental, your physical, or your emotional body.
Of course not.
It's your intuitive body. It's your intuitive body, which is connected through your subconscious mind. It's your intuitive body that picks that up. Your intuitive body is the counterpart to your emotional body, right? And so it's the modem on the spiritual realm that interprets information.
So good. Modem, that's so good, because I think the older your soul, the more intuition you have, because I think intuitions are like the soul's instincts. Like, how you reincarnate past lives. So like whatever you've learned in those past lives are going to be instinctive into you, but that's as your intuition, so to speak. So like if you're instinctively, good at catching punches, for instance, or dodging them, that's your physical instinct. But your intuition to know which path to take to not get hurt, and someone else's intuition isn't as strong, is because you've done it more times, and like how old your soul is, so to speak.
Absolutely, man. This is a great conversation. So, I think that... Oh, go ahead, Vin. Sorry.
Energy vampire, or then like a vampire traditional vampire? Are they the same thing? Because they say there's a shitload of vampires in Seattle.
Well, think about this. I heard this. Jeff left his phone on the other day, and I heard the soundtrack from Lost Boys. Have you ever seen the movie Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Come here, Chinook. Right, but about vampires and in California, right, in L.A. And
Kiefer Sutherland, right?
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland and Corey Haim and right, two Corey Feldman. And you have to wonder, is this about an ancient cult of people who basically practice this spiritual energy preying? That they prey off of people on energy.
Think about it. You said it overflows right into the physical.
Yeah, but this is what they're doing on the big tech level with the algorithms. Right. This is the whole point of it, is to do exactly that. Is to get people in these unstable emotional states so they do irrational and erratic things. Typically, it was meant to make you buy something.
Right. Well, then they're like, why stop there?
Well,
let's see if they'll all wear masks.
If you could be the receptor of all this information or all this energy, wouldn't that be a great thing? You could utilize it to rule the world. If energy was simply this raw stuff that comes in that you can transmute into anything, then it becomes right. It becomes this mechanism that's valuable. And so
I have a feeling like.
Go ahead. Sorry.
This whole machine that you're talking about, this whole mechanism. I have a feeling that although it's big and strong and powerful, all it would take to completely throw it down is a small, tiny wrench placed in the right gear at the right time. It's just the whole thing.
I agree. But you know what? I think that the vampires that drink the blood, they might actually be real, but I don't think they're human.
No, definitely not. I also believe that
they might be alien. They might be the Dracos that we hear about. Right? They feed off of the glandular system of a human being.
I know a vampire who's vegan.
Yeah?
Oh.
That's just weird.
That is weird. What does that even mean? How's that?
I'm vegan now.
What? Here's a tomato then, I guess. What's the matter?
Well, have you heard of a fruit bat?
Going on light hemoglobin this year. What's that?
I said, well, have you heard of a fruit bat?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Never heard of a fruit bat?
Oh, I've heard of a fruit bat, yeah.
Of course I've heard of a fruit bat.
He sucked the blood out of the apple.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you call a lesbian dinosaur? A lickalotopus.
A lickalotopus, there you go.
What about a gay dinosaur? Megasaurus.
All right.
I'm done.
Very cool. Well, we're gonna have to continue this conversation Sunday night and get maybe into more of this aspect of it. I like this conversation about the mind and consciousness and subconscious and emotions.
I think we should do more remote viewing tricks.
Well, we should.
Or not tricks, but
we'll integrate them in.
Yeah.
We'll start that Sunday. So Sunday we'll be going back into the psychic phenomena, remote viewing, and how that integrates into the mind. We'll be talking about that next Sunday in the next episode of Insomniac Hour. If you guys can, if you are new to us, please subscribe and share this. Give it a thumbs up and a like. Don't forget to definitely visit us, redpills.tv, to see all our shows and episodes tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On this channel and all of these channels that you're watching on right now. Ben Stewart, the creator of Esoteric Agenda, Kymatica, also host on Gaia.com's Transcendent and Psychedelica, will be joining us in-house to talk about a lot of different things that he has going on, including transhumanism and some documentaries that he has coming up. So please check that out. Cool, guys. Hope you enjoy your sleep. Be well. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Good night.